Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is Yash Chitray. I'm the Senior Vice President of Marketing Engagement at HubEngage. I will be your moderator for today's session, in which we will cover how to leverage an employee experience platform for effective communications in uncertain times. So this is the first of our fall series of webinars at HubEngage, and we are looking forward to hosting several of these. And we'll keep you updated on our website. We've got the next two events posted, one for October, and then a little bit farther down the road in November as well. And we will be recording these webinars, so they will be available on our website for download. So if any of your colleagues don't have access to this today, they can view it later on, and they can get a copy of it as well. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with the webinar. Looks like we've got a good mix of folks joining us today, and I know some of you are even current customers and stakeholders that have or are in the process of deploying HubEngage as an employee experience platform. So that's great. We'll show you some best practices, and we'll give you ideas on what you might want to consider adding to your internal communication strategy as you use the platform itself. And for everyone else, we hope this gives you a taste of what the platform is all about and how it can provide value to you and your organizations, specifically in these uncertain times that we're living in given the pandemic. Okay. So just to cover a quick agenda of what we're going to be talking about in the next hour or so, we're going to start by examining employee engagement and how the world has changed in 2020, and what does this specifically mean to internal communications. So the COVID-19 effect obviously has had a big effect on how we communicate and what happens. So we're going to cover that a little bit. Then we're going to transition into how a technology platform like HubEngage can help, right? Specifically dive into consolidating your tactics, talking about some communication strategies, reaching a broader audience so that you can increase overall engagement and satisfaction while retaining and keeping your employees in tune with the mission, vision, and values of the company. You'll see a few best practices as well as you might consider doing some of these tactics as well in the future. And finally, we'll wrap up with a quick Q&A. There is a chat box and there is a Q&A section, so you can submit your questions there as well. And then once we get to the end, as we go along, if you add your questions there, we'll be able to answer those questions for you. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So in general, employee disengagement is a huge factor, right? It's very, very big here in the United States. It's big globally. It affects virtually every industry, no matter where you come from. And according to Gallup, 67% of the workforce is actively disengaged. Now, that's a staggering statistic, right? And it's one that can ultimately lead to financial repercussions, loss of sales, translating into a poor customer experience, even employee attrition, losing your workforce. This will all lead to damaging your employer brand. And if we dissect it even further and go down the level, 52% of employees say that they're actually just showing up, right? While 17% describe themselves as, quote unquote, actively disengaged. Now, if you boil all that down, that can be a $550 billion loss to companies in the United States every single year. That is almost a horrifying statistic, and I think as internal communication stakeholders, it's the challenge, right? It's really what we're up against, and how do you improve these numbers? Now, keep in mind, these are the statistics at the beginning of the year, right? Pre-pandemic, and then all of a sudden, COVID-19 hits, and the world is literally turned upside down into sheer chaos overnight. Workforces all have to transform the way, literally overnight, how they're going to work, right? They have to scramble to adopt a new normal, put infrastructure in place for business continuity. And now, while white-collar employees who can work from home and are mandated to do so, they can do that immediately, right? They can get on Zoom calls, they can access, platforms, things like that. Blue-collar workers are furloughed, they're laid off. Essentially, and your essential workers, they risk their health and safety to continue to provide the basic needs of every kind of economy, right? So you really see just a kind of a scramble happening back in February, March, and April. But no matter what your demographic of employee base is, there's still an overarching need to reach each and every employee, no matter where they are, even their employment status, regardless of what it is. You're going to want to be in touch with them because we don't know when the pandemic will end, and suddenly you might need your workplace back in action again. So you want to keep them informed, you want to keep them educated, even rewarded and recognized for managing an uncertain time with the company's future in mind. So looking at this urgent need, all companies want to deploy this employee experience platform. They want to reach as many folks as possible through all channels, including apps, intranets, even in location display screens. And they're looking for platforms that will have accelerated deployment capabilities, strategies for onboarding, getting folks to really adopt the platform and keep coming back to the platform over and over again. Reaching employees wherever they are is paramount, and it really doesn't matter where they are, if they're at home, if they're at work in offices, or let's say, you're an essential worker and you're on the manufacturing floor, or you're a healthcare worker and you're in the hospital. You want to reach them asynchronously 24/7. So platforms have to be omni-channel. They have to reach through every single means possible. So enter the employee experience platform, right? And Hub Engage is a great example of that. It's got the most comprehensive tools in one single connected platform, so you can do more with less time, less budget, and make a greater impact over time. So what are the things that you're looking for when you want to leverage a technology in a multi-channel employee experience platform, right? You want something that can be accessed by, of course, iOS and Android apps. You want web apps, intranets, maybe even a display screen solution, but you want that same content and frictionless experience no matter which channel you tune into to get to every single employee. You want to make everything integrated in one platform, making it easy to access and measure. You want to tailor content, right? You want to do segmentation. You want to be able to reach different demographics, different groups of employees, with the right content and the right information at the right place and the right time. And some great things that you can do when you've got a platform that is omni-channel and has multiple points of access, you can take things like the web app, for example, and make that web app your home screen. Now, this will give access to the entire spectrum of everything you're doing in your company, not just communications-wise, but maybe you link or you integrate all of your other platforms directly in there as well. So what you do is it's a great starting point, and you essentially get engagement across all of your systems by using the employee experience platform as the starting point for all of your communications. So a big theme of what a lot of companies are trying to do right now is consolidation of tactics, right? Not having one tool for communications, one tool for surveys, one tool for your rewards and recognition, another tool for instant messaging, training, etc. So what we've done is trying to make it easy and have all the tactics available to you inside of one platform, so you can mix and match, activate certain tactics at the right time and right place to have the right strategy. This will give you 360 degrees of engagement in your communications. So this means not just pushing out top-down content that would be company to employee items such as streaming news, maybe you've got some news feeds with text, images, documents, events, policies, special procedures, directories, links to essential information such as employee benefits, payroll, schedules, customer care, etc., but also the bottom-up tactics as well. So these are the things that let your employees feed into the content ecosystem. So if you enable tactics such as social feeds, storytelling, celebrating your heroes and best practices when they happen inside of the organization, giving recognition. This could be peer-to-peer recognition. It could be company or management recognition to employees, giving out rewards, when you do all these things and blend in these tactics as well, this all leads to a better employee culture and a better brand. It's often said in the employee engagement world that you have to sell in order to sell out. And I'm a big believer of that, because when your employees are engaged with the mission, vision, and values, that's going to translate to a better product, right? Whatever it is that you're selling or your service offering, and your customer experience then can flat out impact your bottom line financially as well, because that's been improved as well. So you can really connect the dots from internal communications to the marketing that you're putting through these channels, all the way to your CFO's office, where they can see the impact and they can measure the impact over time as well. So the key is you have to intrinsically motivate your employees so that they have skin in the game, right? That they feel that they're being listened to, they're recognized, and they contribute to the overall success of their careers and ultimately the company, which is great for you. And if you pepper in things like productivity tools, like let's say instant messaging, so all your people are communicating to each other in peer-to-peer chat or group chats inside of your secure platform, and they're not doing it on Facebook or WhatsApp or other outside channels, the platform becomes the single source for everything work-related, while being fun and productive as well. And when you have these tools enabled, everybody's using it, and that makes your engagement goes up. That means they're also blending into other tactics, looking at other content pieces. So there's a domino effect, and you start to get lost in the platform, lost figuratively in a good way, because you're seeing all this new content and all these other things that you might have missed or have not been privy to in the past. So now let's kind of peel the onion back here a little bit, and let's look at some of the specific tactics here, right? So let's say you push out the platform. Let's say you've got some standard communication content that's now kind of weaponized, right, if you will, via the multi-channel apps approach. So now what, right? You've got your content in there. It's all scheduled. Maybe you're front-loading it, or maybe you're adding it as you go along. How can you get better adoption, right, and better engagement of this content? I think this is really the gold mine, right, for all of us stakeholders. What are the specific things you can do inside of an employee experience platform to get better engagement, enroll users, and then keep them coming back for more and more over time, making your platform sticky? Because at the end of the day, it's more than just pushing content out. You've got to have a strategy to capture their hearts and minds so that the messages get across. And this is extremely important, particularly today in these remote working COVID times where we can't be face-to-face. We don't have the opportunity to have human-to-human interaction, and we have to do things digitally. So this is where platforms like this really, really have to perform and give you that strategy. So let's talk about a few tactics here, right? So push notifications right off the bat, right? Once your content is in the platform, obviously, you want to do the obvious and send out that instant push notification. Or if you're front loading all of your content, let's say for the week, all at once, go ahead and schedule those notifications. This means that your content's going to get attention right away. Believe it or not, most companies shy away from this simple tactic, right, when they've got platforms like this. They may say, well, we made the content available so people can open up the app and they can dig around for it, but that's really not enough, right? Just pushing that content and making it available there is not enough. Employees actually want to be notified, right? And we've found that while getting several daily notifications on a personal device might get annoying, if you balance them out, right, and you segment them to the right audiences so that it's relevant and meaningful and it actually becomes timely, they'll actually thank you for letting them know. We've seen that happen time and time again. Also, your app notifications can be personalized to an employee's desire. For example, I may go through a period where I want notifications turned off, or I want a lighter approach to how I'm informed. The beauty of these platforms is you can set the cadence for that as well, right? And I can do that just like I do with all of my other apps. And when I use a platform like Hub Engage, the first thing I do when I download and install the app is I go through all those permissions, right? I say, yep, I want to be notified. Yep, I want it to show up on my lock screen. Yep, I want it to make the sounds and have badges and alerts and all that kind of stuff. Or no, I don't want that kind of stuff. Now, the beauty of doing push notifications inside this platform is that it's not just about, pushing one type of content. You can do many different types of content. So on the right side of the screen here, I took a quick screenshot of just some current customer apps that I've got installed on my phone, right? Of some current client deployments. And these are the types of push notifications that they're doing out, right? So it might be something around nostalgia, right? So you see one there from Extended Stay America that says, take a look back at 25 years of our company history. Then you see one there. This is a Singapore aerospace company out over in Asia. They're talking about COVID, specifically about preventative actions around COVID. We see some other gaming apps there. Kraft Heinz's Ketchup app there as well, where they have specific initiatives. Something called the Fast Lane channel. All these types of things. So you can pepper in and do things differently. Based on the content and the strategy of what you're pushing out inside of the platform. Now, you can also run specific campaigns to push notify folks who haven't looked at specific pieces of content or read things. Now, we call those action-based campaigns. So that way, no one's left out of the communications mix. Now, I know there's a few deployed Hub Engage customers on the call today from our gaming sections and manufacturing and retailers attending today's webinar. So, if you guys need specific help in this, I encourage you to bring this up in your monthly, strategy engagement meetings, because we can help you to set up and tailor these specific things. But something as simple as push notifications really, really gets the point across fast. Exclusive content. Now, a clear way to get engagement fast is to put exclusive content that you can only find in one place inside of your platform only, right? Maybe it's a video, a specific form they have to fill out, that quarterly employee engagement survey, or maybe a trivia quiz or a contest. Compliance for your industry can be a big thing. So if the only way to do it is inside of the apps, well, then you'll get people to engage and you'll rise your numbers fast. So if you enable sharing internally or externally by the content piece as well, you can also make that content viral. So let's say your company has a great story or did something for the community that could increase awareness around a certain social cause or something like that. Make that externally shareable to your social networks like Facebook and Twitter. So that way your people become your own brand ambassadors on your behalf. And they start doing it because, there's that old adage, when friends talk, friends listen, right? Well, it's the same thing with employees. When employees talk, employees listen as well, right? And it's not just the company saying it, but it is actually your peers that are saying it as well. So you're more likely to engage in the content. Now, another tactic is to pull your must-have information, such as employee benefits, schedules, and other items right into the platform, either through integrations with third-party systems or simply linking them to fast forward them to where they need to go to. So if you've got the fancy integrations in the platform, and Hub Engage supports quite a few of these, that's great, right? Because we're pulling that content directly into the platform. Now, let's say you didn't do the fancy integrations, but you do have those third-party systems set up as well. It takes seconds to literally add the links to other apps, other websites directly inside of this platform. So this way, you can fast forward folks to, must-have information like schedules, employee benefits, payroll, things like that, and let them interact inside of those secure environments as well. One of the things I hear a lot from our healthcare customers is, not sharing patient data inside of an employee communications platform, right? They've got other platforms for things like that. So if you're not in healthcare, maybe you're in manufacturing or retail, maybe you've got a CRM platform that you're using or an ERP platform that you're using for that type of information. So, giving them links or fast forwarding them to those secure environments so that they can then play directly there in those secure environments on those servers and those clouds. You can do all of that directly from Hub Engage as well. So we always recommend this when we kick off with all of our customers, that at its core, make sure you're inventorying all of the different resources and sources of information you have, even if it's just a careers page on your website for referrals, for getting talent, things like that. Get all that stuff inside of a platform like this and highlight that and push notify and run campaigns around that. You'll get a lot more engagement a lot quicker as well. Okay, now, do you want to become an instant hero inside of your company as a stakeholder? Well, pull your executives in and give them a space in the menus where they can have their own corner, right? This not only helps them communicate better to everyone, they can upload videos, blogs, letters to employees, enable comments, they can have conversations right with their workforce, they can learn more about how their employees actually feel because they're hearing it directly from them. They're getting those, unfiltered emotions directly from their employees. This often, helps leaders dance at many weddings at once, right? They can reach more people, and they can also promote their own unique leadership persona. A lot of leaders spend a lot of time, externally promoting themselves, maybe through PR, public relations, and external things that make their character sort of stand out. But they don't do it internally to their employees enough, and you have to do that. When you do that, then they'll understand who you are. They'll also understand how the executives care about them and think about them and have them in mind. And every decision that they make, no matter how far away they may seem because they're executives or they're leaders of the company, that they make these decisions with you in mind. It really helps the employee sort of create empathy around that and understand that. And what's the end result for you? Well, as the stakeholder, you now have an executive sponsor of your platform. So this is going to help you get priority over budget because all of a sudden the tool becomes a must-have for leaders. They get addicted to it and communicating through it. They get used to it. Their behavior is set there of using the platform. So guess what? Your platform is going to be there next year. It's going to be there the year after because this is how they will communicate, and this has helped them get their messages across as well. They'll thank you for giving them the resource they needed to get their message across. Because again, it increases their personal brand as well. So a lot of our customers, like you see here on screen, create their own little corners. Maybe they have a special minute corner every single week, and maybe it's not just the CEO, but it's division leaders, it's other inspirational folks inside of the company that you are highlighting because they need to get their message across, or maybe it's a brand ambassador, it's an employee, it's an everyday person. I mean, I think that's a great idea. Get an everyday person up there as well, and make a hero out of them, and then rotate that person over and over again with different people, with maybe stories, ideas, things that they're doing, things that personify the ideal person that works for your company. There's a lot of opportunity to do that. Now, top of mind content, we always say, get that right up into the menus, right? Bring that sort of stuff right up to the top. Create special sections. In this case, we've got a healthcare example. This is a healthcare customer where important issues are pinned right up top in the menus and the drop down, so it's easy to access and find, whether it's COVID information, it's social causes, whatever it is. But it has all the information I can go through. I can find specific things. And, if I think, what, I have noticed that, my workforce is really burning out. They're stressed out right now. Everybody's going through this sort of COVID mentality. I really want to highlight coping with stress right now and give some tips on, how folks can de-stress, become more active, get off the computers, get outside, get some air, do all that kind of stuff. Stay healthy, keep your mind and body, connected. I might highlight and push some of that stuff out from time to time and do a push notification campaign around that stuff as well. Automated emails. This is another great thing, and this is available in the version 2 of our platform that is currently being rolled out to our current customers and anybody new that's coming into the platform as a customer. But how about setting up that weekly automated email digest on items that you might have missed, right? So when I get my Friday weekly roundup, I'm compelled to tap on items of interest and be led right into the platform so that I can immerse myself in a video or maybe an employee success story or a vital piece of timely information about COVID-19 or something in our work environment, right? Now, this can be configured to just the items that I didn't see. So now I'm in the loop, and I know I'm in the loop, and I'm caught up with what's going on in the company. So here at Hub Engage, obviously we practice what we preach. We have our own version of this platform deployed to all of our employees here, in the U.S. and globally, overseas in our offices as well. And it's great. I mean, I look at my Friday roundup. I quickly look in my email. Sometimes, I have the notifications enabled and I see those notifications, but sometimes I get a lot of notifications on my phone, so I might ignore things from time to time or say, okay, I'll look at that later. I'm driving the car right now. I can't look at things. That weekly email digest is a great way to sort of let people tap on it and go directly into it. And when they open up that email, let's say they're opening it up on their computer, they'll go straight to the web app, right, which is like your intranet. If I'm on my phone and I tap on it, if I've got the app installed, it's going to take me to the app. But if I don't have the app installed, it'll take me to the browser, and I can look at the web app there as well, right? So this makes the platform really powerful in V2, so I can really kind of access it without any hindrance, regardless of device or where I am or the time or anything like that. So what you see here on example, this is a healthcare customer. And they've got this nice, panel tiled, email that goes out every week, and their employees, doctors, nurses, first responders, first line, front of line employee healthcare workers can get the information that they need to, and also see what they might have missed, if there was something fun going on, or a trivia quiz, or a reward, or a recognition, or something like that. Speaking of rewards, rewards obviously, makes everything better, right? Now, when I get timely information that helps me do my job better, I'm generally happy and I'm satisfied because I feel like the company's giving me what I need. But if you give me something in return, let's say you gave me a reward or a recognition for taking an action or engaging in a specific piece of content, I'm even more motivated to take part, right? So giving away tangible rewards that have a monetary value, such as cash, gift cards, merchandise, all that stuff is great. We've rolled out a new integration with Tango Rewards, so there's a catalog there where you can get gift cards and all that kind of stuff now instantly inside of the platform. So, you've got a lot of options in terms of what you can do with rewards. And if you, didn't have a budget, let's say, you got the budget for the platform, but you really don't have any money to spend on tangible things like that, you can get creative and even gamify the experience without spending a single dime, right? Giving away recognition certificates, achievement badges, or even points for bragging rights in the leaderboard can have a deep effect on getting people engaged. So if I see that, my peers are getting recognized, they're getting rewarded, they're moving ahead in their career, I'm going to want to participate and get that satisfaction as well, right? There's a definite, measurable peer-to-peer effect, and you can see it happening right before your eyes in the workplace. The platform definitely lets you do that. So if you've got recognition enabled, as a feature, this can help you go really, really far. And you don't need to use another third-party system. You can do that right inside of your employee experience platform now. Social feeds. Now, this is obviously a great way to enhance the culture of your company. I love seeing what other folks are up to. So having the ability to post, comment, like, hashtag, stick emojis in there, tag other employees, do all that kind of stuff makes the workplace lighter. It makes it fun, right? And our best enterprise customers that have deployed, the social feed feature, they can clearly see a remarkable increase in engagement, app stickiness, and the dwell time, how much time folks are actually spending inside of the app, right? Because you open it several times a day, you're scrolling through the feed, it's fun to like, it's fun to comment, it's fun to share things, and it's fun to participate and give back to the ecosystem too, and talk about what it is that you're doing as well as run initiatives in there, maybe contests for, I'll just give you the example, inside of our company, all our employees are working remotely right now because of COVID globally. So one of the things we did was we did a challenge, how do you work from home, right? So every day, somebody goes and tags another employee and they post a picture of themselves and they say, hey, here's how I work from home. Here's a picture of my home office. Granted, many of the home offices are a blend of dining rooms and kitchens and laundry and kids running around and all that kind of fun stuff, because that's just the nature of where we live these days. But it is fun to see that, and it creates empathy, right? So running these contests, these challenges inside of your social feeds, these things all, make work fun, right? They really motivate people to actually participate as well. Learning and training. So employees naturally want to succeed in their jobs, right? I mean, no one really comes to work and say, hey, you know what, I want to do a crappy job today. Nobody does that, right? And if they perform poorly, it might be because they're disengaged or they're disenfranchised by their employer not caring about them, or maybe it's a skill set problem. So that's where encouraging your employees to go farther by learning inside the platform can help. Utilizing, what we focus on as micro-learning features, you can trigger those quick quizzes, short knowledge tests, lots of these different activities in a fun and engaging environment that's convenient to access, right? And then, also running campaigns where, I want to know that, I want to push a piece of content down there. Let's say I have a compliance document for health and safety. And I need to know that, Bob read that piece of content. He understood it because he took a quiz. He got the questions right. I can see his scorecard, and I recognize him. I gave him a certificate of completion or maybe a reward or some points or something like that. As a stakeholder, I'm ticking the box on so many different things, right? So making learning and training fun, where it's not like a traditional LMS system where it's like, okay, I got to sit here for an hour. I got to read something. I got to watch it, blah, blah, blah. It's boring. And then how do you even know that the message got across to the employee? Did they understand it? Did they take a test? It's a very cumbersome environment. If you've got younger workforces, millennial folks, inside of your organization, this becomes even more important because you're competing for their digital attention at all times, right? So micro-learning, learning and training modules, this is a great way to get engagement, tie lots of different features together, tick the boxes on a whole bunch of things in one swoop and get more done. And of course, productivity tools, having things like instant messaging. If you introduce these capabilities into your platform, this is going to give employees a fast and convenient way to message each other, stay in touch. Let's face it, we all text multiple times a day, right? But when you introduce this feature, you basically get more people to download the app, even if they're just using it for texting, and you'll get more adoption and participation because they might look at other things inside of the platform while they're there as well. That will further the engagement needle for you, right? So when you have employees sharing from pieces of content from the platform with each other, that creates that word of mouth marketing effect directly. You'll see those metrics rise with content views, likes, comments, sharing, all that kind of stuff. And just, having peer-to-peer instant messaging and group messaging, having managers being able to create group chat, maybe departments, geographies, offices, however your organization is set up. This becomes very convenient. And then the other benefit to having a messaging inside of your own platform is that, you own all the content, you own all your own data, right? So as the employer, so you have access to the chat logs, the history for compliance purposes, et cetera. So think of it just as you might give email access to your employees. It's not like you're reading every single message that they're sending, but if you needed to, from a compliance standpoint, you've got access to that content and that information. And this is extremely useful when your folks are talking about confidential information, maybe proprietary information. You really don't want that out on platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, iMessage, all that kind of stuff. You want it, inside of your platform. And, the final step for internal communicators is always measure, 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 right? That's the only way we're going to know if any of this is working and we're moving the ball here. So keeping your finger on the pulse of how your content is performing is key to making any changes or fine-tuning your content streams as you go along in this journey of having an employee experience platform. So monitoring things like likes, comments, sharing, views, all that kind of stuff, having the ability to look at it not only on the screen, but then download those CSVs if you want to plug them into third-party systems. And also measuring some other cool metrics like engagement, satisfaction, participation, intent. We give you a lot of this, crunched into graphs and charts and heat maps and all sorts of other great visuals that you can then take and put into, maybe your quarterly report that you have to give to leadership in terms of, look, here's where we started, here's where we are today, and here's where we think we're going to go. And here are the lessons we learned along the way with the content. We changed things up. We were able to move the needle on engagement because we saw 1 month we did this initiative and XYZ happened. The next month we did something else, something totally different happened. So this is really going to help you to, explain to leadership, to show accountability as well. Our goal is always to, show you rising engagement over time. We want to show you that, that hockey stick on a graph. We want to show you things going up over time. This is where we will sit with you. We'll work with you to make sure that you're getting that. So, looking at the data is extremely important. And I'll say that most of our customers, look at metrics along certain dated milestones, right? Because they're kind of trying to see what the trends are. If you can do a trend analysis and see what's sticking to the wall and what's not, that's good, right? Because if changes need to be made, you want to be able to easily adjust your content streams and try new strategies, right? You can fail often, if you will, right? Be an entrepreneur, if you will. As a formal internal communications person myself, I know that content is the most time-consuming and expensive thing to create. Maybe I'm doing it in-house, my marketing folks, maybe I've got an agency that I'm working with. But creating that stuff takes time, it takes money. So I want to make sure that it's effective, right? It's moving the needle on what I want to see in terms of engagement. Because if it's not, then I'm going to move that time, I'm going to move that budget allocation spend to other types of content production to make sure, what I'm pushing out is getting across. So measurement is really, really important with all of the different tactics that you're doing inside of your platform. Now, these are, kind of just a handful of ideas and strategies and tactics, particularly around COVID times, that we're seeing a lot of our customers use, no matter if they're at the enterprise level, if they've got, 50,000 folks on the platform, or they've got 200 folks on the platform. It generally applies to everyone. Things can obviously be tailored and be different for different folks. And we realize that, different companies have different cultures, right? A lot of companies come in and say, we're just not comfortable with the social feed feature. We're just not comfortable with employees submitting things right now. Maybe we'll do that a little bit later, or, maybe we'll do surveys down the pipe. That's totally fine. That's where, you should have a platform that has the flexibility that allows you to turn things on and off. When we get started with you, with all of our customers, we customize it, right? We'll customize a package that makes sense for you with the right tactics that you need. And if you tell us right off the bat, look, we're just not going to need this, and this, we'll take those tactics out for you, right? And that'll make it more affordable for you too as you go along. So you can definitely modulize it as well and get more for the dollar based on what you need to get done based on your priorities. But it is always a great, opportunity and a great option to have everything available for you. Think of it like an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? I might go up and grab a couple of dishes. I might go a little bit later and get dessert down a little bit later on when I feel like it. But to have those options, right, I think is really important. And as internal communicators, whether I'm in corporate affairs, whether I'm in marketing, internal communications, HR, wherever I come from, these things, I'm likely going to play a role in all these different things, right? And I might bring in other stakeholders into the platform as well. So they can be administrators as well. They can also push their content. They can also use a platform like this to get their initiatives across, right? So you might have somebody from health and safety, your operations departments, regional divisions, things like that. You should get some knocks on your door where people will say, hey, I see you deployed this platform. Can I play too? Can I push my content? How can I get my stuff out there? Because, I really want employees to see the stuff that I'm working on as well. So you can, invite them to have a play in the game as well, have some skin in the game, get their content out as well. and consolidate, right? And it's all about that. I think the theme, particularly in technology, what we're seeing today, it's all about technology consolidation, right? One platform that can do, maybe not everything, but that can do a lot of different things at once. So it's easier to manage. It becomes a single source of information. Your employees don't have 50 different apps installed. I mean, that's the biggest thing I see right now, right? My wife works for a large life insurance company here in Boston. She works for John Hancock. And one of the things that, I see, on her desktop here in our work from home office is she's got, one app for recognition, one for training, one for servers, things like that. It's easy to bring everything inside of one platform, right? It's a lot easier to work that way. So this makes life easier, and it makes the employee experience a lot better too, because at the end of the day, I think that's one of the big things we're trying to solve here. And one of the things that you need to do in order to increase retention, reduce attrition, increase retention, and recruitment, get the best candidates out there, is to have a really good employee experience inside of your platform. So with that, I would be happy to take any questions that you guys might have. I did get a couple of questions emailed to me that I just noticed from folks that are on the call as well. So I'll start with those, and then I'll go through any other questions that you guys might have. And of course, if anybody wants to email questions after the fact or talk about it after the fact, we're definitely available to do that. But the first question is, with so many people working remotely today, do companies ever get pushback from their workers having to install company apps on their personal devices? So that's a great question. There's definitely a fear, right, as an employer that's, oh man, I'm asking my folks to download apps and things like that. But I would say that over the years, particularly our platform's been out for about 6 years now, we've seen that behavior completely change, right? I mean, that's gotten thrown out the window in the sense of this fear of companies asking employees to download apps. Number one, if the platform is useful, it's going to help you do your job better. It's going to make you more productive and create more satisfaction in what you do in your job. You're going to download the app, right? I'm going to engage in it, as an employee. So we don't see those types of pushbacks often. A lot of times, and it depends entirely on the industry that you work with, right? So we work with a lot of companies in healthcare, manufacturing, retail, union employees, right? So there could be on the clock, off the clock, compensation issues, things like that. One of the things that we do as a best practice inside of any app that we deploy for our customers is to have that terms of service right up front, make it live inside the app. We tell all of our customers as a best practice every quarter or maybe twice a year, do a push notification and have everybody re-up and agree to those terms of services, right? That protects you as an employer, just in terms of, let's say, I'm an automotive manufacturer employee, all right, and I'm at home, I'm unionized, I'm off the clock, and I opened up the app. Am I going to get paid now? So, these types of things, you do address there. Typically, companies have their employment labor lawyers provide that kind of language. And if you don't have that language, then what we would do is template it and give it to you that you could modify it and you could have that live in there. But again, that all goes into that internal pre-communication planning process that you have to roll out when you do a platform like this as well. Okay, next question I have. Can I get a custom report made on a regularly scheduled basis using an employee experience platform? I report to an executive task force that is responsible for COVID communications, and they want to know if we are reaching people at home. So yes, you can. Of course, you can look at reports in your dashboard. You can look at things on screen, but then you can also download those reports, right, and get CSV files if you're looking for raw data in terms of quantitative analysis. In our version 2 that we're rolling out, we're giving you lots of charts and graphs and things like that as well. So you can definitely grab those and stick those into your presentations and your reports as well. And I would say, most of our enterprise customers are doing this, right? Because they're measuring. They want to know that they're getting the ROI out of the platform, whether they're moving the needle on engagement. And hopefully you're seeing it, right? I mean, you can be data-driven in a platform like this all you want, and data is a great thing, right? Because it validates it, right? It's very clear, it's factual. But you should be seeing it, right? At a very high level, you should be seeing like, yeah, we deployed the platform, people are using it, I'm hearing things, they're sharing things, I'm seeing things, there's likes, there's comments, people are talking about it, there's some buzz. So, platforms like this, it's not like it's a behind the scenes type of thing, right? This is very much woven into the daily fabric of the employee's, work day. So I would say, you should be seeing that. But yeah, if you need all the data and all the reports, absolutely, you can dig in and you can get that. You can also ask us. We can, schedule things. So let's say every week we have some customers that say, every week I need X report. Can I get that automatically pulled? So we can help set that type of stuff up as well. I have another question here. Is group chat available? We have managers that create rooms for their employees to chat in. Yes, of course, group chat is available in your instant messaging feature. If you have that enabled as a feature, peer-to-peer and group chat is definitely available. So you can definitely do that, and you can share, content, different types of content pieces, things like that, etc. Let's see, another question here. How do hospitals handle HIPAA compliance? Is your platform compliant? Good question. So we can do HIPAA compliance for you if you are a healthcare organization. We do that at an additional fee for doing that compliance. I will say that most hospitals and healthcare systems that use our platform, and we've got hospitals that are, bigger university-affiliated, multi-location, research hospital institutions, all the way down to community hospitals urgent care clinic type of places using our platform. They don't opt for the HIPAA compliance because, it's a place where they can save money, and their employers know that patient data isn't living in here. They're using Epic, or they're using GE Centricity, or, one of those other healthcare specific portals to share that type of information. And again, that's very clear, in FAQs and guidelines for usage of the platform, things like that. So, the bottom line, can we do it? Absolutely. Do a lot of folks do it? No, they don't do it, even though they are big hospital healthcare organizations. We've got 30 locations, and one needs different news content pushed out. How can this be done? So this is segmentation, right? So I think segmentation is really, really key to the platform. You definitely want to be able to tailor your messages, and the more granular and specific you can get to different audiences, demographics, locations, however you bucketize your folks, the better it is, right? The more immersive and relevant the experience is to me. So I'm not wasting my time looking at something that doesn't really apply to me, but this is really timely because it's important to my job and what I do, or it's something that I need to be aware about. So segmentation allows you to basically create, different content streams, different menus, even that user interface, right, that you have in your menus and your app menus, the drop downs, that can be different for different groups of folks, and you can have different admins plugging in different types of information in there. We have a lot of global, customers, right, that, are just multi-nation, right, and they've got different regions. So they've got admins in North America, one in Asia, one in LATAM, APAC, Europe, etc. So obviously they're pushing different types of content, and they're localizing it, right? So maybe it's in a different language. Maybe you're doing it in Spanish. Maybe you're doing things in French or German or something like that for different groups of people. So, our platform does support, multiple languages. So we can give you the capability to do that. The best part about that is that it's not a one-size-fits-all approach for all pieces of content. It certainly can be for some pieces. So maybe you've got global content, let's say, you've got that CEO corner or your executives corner. Well, that's going to go to everybody because it applies to everybody. That's where the buck stops, right? With your CEO. So maybe that gets to everybody. But if it's something, very department specific, regional, only applies to a certain subset of folks, yeah, then that's only going to go out to them as well. So yeah, segmentation can be as granular as you want it. You can take it at a very global level as you want it, but this also helps tailor the experience and make it super relevant. If you go to our website and you have resources in our blog as well, I'll just highlight here, we're constantly posting best practices, things like that. So definitely kind of go through here. You can dig out more information. If you're not on our newsletter, you can subscribe to the newsletter as well. You can also, click on the webinars tab here, and you can see what's up and coming for the next webinar. Next one is planning for a 2021 employee experience platform for communications and engagement. So if you're in the market and you're thinking about putting a platform out like this, we're going to talk about where do you start, right? Right down to how do I get budget? How do I, get sponsorship around this? Obviously this past year has taught us a lot of painful lessons and we have to adapt to a remote environment. But we're going to cover the basics on, taking, into consideration current environments, and we'll see what happens a month from now, right? I mean, everything is changing constantly here. So we'll adapt this and we'll update this as well. But we're going to talk about, everything from budgeting, getting corporate sponsorship, getting your ducks in a row for managing it, getting IT involved, you got to get IT clearance, compliance, all that kind of stuff, putting a 90-day development plan in place. We're going to talk about, all these sort of specific things as well. And I think we have another one in October, how to lead in uncertain times. So this is definitely geared towards our leadership. We're looking to have a CHRO from one of our enterprise customers join us as a panelist as well. So that'll be great because you'll get to hear directly from him in terms of what they're doing and what they've done and how they've led and how they've used a platform like this as an executive. So you can definitely pass this along to any of your executive folks as well that want to attend. So with that, we'll wrap up for today. Thank you very much for attending. I know it's a lot to ask for an hour of everybody's time. Hopefully this was helpful to you. And for any other further information, definitely look through our new website. We launched a brand new website, lots of content, lots of information, and we're changing that up as we go along and adding more content every single week as well. So more resources, more types of videos, information, all FAQs, all the things that will help you to use a platform like this. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there. Take care. Bye-bye.